Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave, and today we'll be taking a look at Murloc Slayers, Murloc_Slayer_Z's aggro token Shaman. Aggro Shaman is kind of making a bit of a resurgence, especially at the end of last season. I believe we played the aggro overload Shaman, and it was just one of the most surprising decks to really come out of that whole Boomsday expansion. Very interesting that it came right at the end as well, that no one had really been experimenting with a lot of these aggressive Shaman decks. People have been too busy playing with Shutterwalks and things like that. And perhaps now that Shutterwalk is out of the metagame, people are looking at really different Shaman decks. They're looking back at that Overload aggro Shaman, looking to do something like what Murloc Slayer has here. And that's an aggro token Shaman, so functioning on a little bit of a different axis. I'm going to go through some of the card choices here. I guess the main power cards that we're looking to deploy: Bloodlust and Thrall Deathseer, and Stormbringer as well. We've got the whole boy band is here of buffing up wide minions. So that's really the main aim of the game. Is we're going to try and go wide in order to maximize the amount of damage we can get off Bloodlust, the amount of evolutions we can get with Stormbringer, the amount of evolutions we can get with Thrall. So that's where I guess the token aspect of the name comes from. If you haven't seen a token deck before, generally means going wide, putting a lot of minions into play. Comes from Magic the Gathering, term that token meaning to put representations of creatures into play, generally a lot of them. So we'll go through a couple of the card choices here. One drops, we've got some great choices: Firefly and Voltaic Burst. Voltaic Burst being very good with cards like Flametongue Totem and all the aforementioned finishes that we have in the deck as well. We've also got Menacing Nimbus, great grindy card, usually helps us fill the curve in, can help us discover maybe some later game threats if we need them. Primal Fin Totem as well, another card that just keeps spitting out tokens. This could be pretty well positioned against a lot of the control decks, a lot of the combo decks out there. So I'm looking for Primal Fin Totem to do a lot of damage and create a lot of problems for our opponent. Onto the threes, we've got Electra Storm Surge, which I guess it's interesting. Like, yes, you can 8 mana go for Electra Bloodlust, which is okay. Electra Voltaic Burst is very good. I'm usually a fan of Electra with more cheap spells. Things like Zap, things like Earth Shock or Lightning Bolt is another great example. But here I guess we're looking more to combine it with Feral Spirit to get back on board, Lightning Storm to perhaps deal with a couple of the more difficult boards to deal with. But it is just a one-off, interesting tech, and if we manage to pull off Electra into Bloodlust, I think we'd be pretty happy with that. So we've got the Feral Spirits, Lightning Storm in here. This is a bit of an interesting one. I think most people, when they go to make an aggressive deck, they usually don't put a card like Lightning Storm in the deck. But particularly with Beast Hunter and other really board-centric decks out there, I think Lightning Storm is fantastic. It's going to give us a lot of... it could potentially give us a lot of free wins. If a Zoo Warlock runs too deep on their board into us, we could potentially get a Lightning Storm off and really close out the game afterwards. So I kind of like this one. Mana Tide Totem, I guess we do have to have some kind of card draw in the deck, and Murloc Slayer has gone for Mana Tide Totem as opposed to something like Elementary Reaction, Acolyte of Pain, these types of things. We'll see how that one goes. That's something to keep an eye out on. I think Mana Tide Totem definitely has some advantages over Elementary Reaction, that you can potentially draw a lot more cards, that it doesn't require you to have played an Elemental or anything like that. But it does cost 3. If you're behind on board, it doesn't really help you get back into the game. Though, if we are ahead on board, it could be quite good. So we'll definitely be trying to get on board, maintain board control, to maximize our Mana Tide Totem. Microtech Controller, a great token card. It's 4/3 worth of stats split over 3 bodies, which is exactly what we want. Saronite Chain Gang, you all know this card, just another great body. The change to its battle cry means nothing to us. Thunderhead. Now, how much overload do we actually have in the deck to go with this Thunderhead? We've got Voltaic Burst, 1, 2, 3. Only the 3. So we actually don't have a lot of cards to help trigger this Thunderhead. So that is something that we will have to keep in mind, that we may want to save some of our Overload cards to help maximize the Thunderhead, or we might just want to kind of pay attention to if Thunderhead is really the best 4-drop for the job, considering we could have cards like Storm Chaser, which we have, you know, 3 spells to go fetch with it, or other neutral 4-drops that we could be playing. And then we've got the finishers here. The cool addition is also Corridor Creeper. It works great with Voltaic Burst and other tokening effects. We can drop that down, and then if we drop a Thrall Deathseer, we get a free 9, which is great. So, without further ado, that's Murloc Slayer's Token Shaman, Aggro Token Shaman. We'll jump into some games, and we'll see how we go. Let's get it. Alright. Up against the Mage. We'll definitely be keeping a Firefly. Now, the great thing is, if you are watching on YouTube, as you should know, all the links are always down in the description, and we've got a link there to the Hearthstone deck article, and in the write-up, Murloc Slayer has included a little bit of a mulligan guide, which I always appreciate. Big shout-outs to Murloc Slayer and all the other content creators who include mulligan guides. They mentioned that we're looking for Flame Tongue Totem, Firefly, Primal Fin Totem, Voltaic Burst. So I don't know about this Corridor Creeper. Unsure. I know if we were playing Odd Paladin, big fan of keeping a Corridor Creeper. I'm working on my sub badge right now. It's going to be a balloon with Daedric armor. Hell yeah. Oh my gosh. I just remember playing so much Oblivion. Like, I probably played a lot of Morrowind, but maybe Morrowind was a little bit before my ability to really, like, enjoy a fantastic game. I played so much Oblivion, and that game is... Quest Mage? Oh, shenanigans are afoot, friends. I played so much Oblivion, and it was basically only, like, the quest lines and the stories that really kept me playing, because that... Oh my gosh, the gameplay in Oblivion is a little bit broken.
Pain speak to me.
Let the pain speak to me. I think I want to position this here. No, we wanted to put it here. Goofed that up. I wanted to put on the Firefly. Slight goofing. All I was thinking about is, like, we want to put it on the Primal Fin Totem, but then have it drop on the token, so that it is right in the middle for us. But our opponent has used their coin, so they're unlikely to hit us with a Blast Wave or a Dragon's Fury anytime soon. I actually started playing Oblivion today. I want to make a character that I make a backstory and take it into Skyrim. Heck yeah. Are they, like, chronologically... Is it Oblivion then Skyrim? Like, in the chronology of the world? Oh, Banana Buffoon's pretty good with Quest Mage, hey?
I wonder. Shall we make a stand?
Skyrim is 200 years after Oblivion, yes. Yeah, so you've never played Oblivion before? Like, first time? Rude. Rude boy.
Thunderstruck.
I think if we should be like firing off this unstable evolution. I think we just want to drop this corridor creeper. If our opponent has like blast wave or something, that's fine. So I think we can probably get the rest of this damage done. I have played it, I'm just replaying it on stream. Great, yeah. What was your favourite part of Oblivion? Ooh. Don't mind if I do. Give me some charge, boys, please. Oh! Sure. I think we'll hold this unstable evolution. Now, does our opponent have all the freeze effects? Yeah, my favourite part of Oblivion is definitely the Thieves Guild questline. I just think that that is... like, even when I think of like all of the games that I've played and like my favorite storylines and quests and stuff like that, the Thieves Guild one still sticks out in my mind as just being so good. I feel like the cliche answer is Thieves Guild. Oh, damn it! You got me. Definitely enjoy the Dark Brotherhood. Yeah, so Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion. Potential spoiler alert. I think I can only remember the Dark Brotherhood in Morrowind and in Skyrim. Refresh my memory of what happens in so 18, 4, 5, 10, 15, 18. Cool.
Die, Mage.
The future is now.
Got him. Quest Mage. What are you doing here, buddy? Admittedly, though, if our opponent had, like, another Frost Nova or a Blizzard or anything like that, I think we would have been taking the L on that one. But, GG. Well, alright, up here against the Hunter. I think we'll keep this Firefly. Once again, just like the Mulligan Guide says, I think we'll look for the Primal Fin Totem and Flame Tongue. Well, there's one. And we are on the play as well. Ooh, and we got the Primal Fin too. This is interesting. So if our opponent's on Beast Hunter... unlikely. TSC2 Armors 907. What is going on? We're playing some aggro token Shaman. Having a bit of fun. Hopefully you had a fantastic new year. Are you a Hearthstone player as well? What have you been playing? I forgot how bad I am at graphic design. Oh my gosh, trust me. Every time I open Photoshop, I remember how terrible I am at stuff like that. Let's just get our aggro on, I think. Yeah, there's an interesting video I was watching a while ago. It might have been a Vsauce video, but it's an interesting way to explain the Dunning-Kruger effect. I'm a Hearthstone player and a Magic the Gathering player, but suck at both. Well, at least you can recognize what you're good at, what you're bad at, and that's really important because then you can realize what you need to do to get better. How long have you been playing Magic for? Be right back, no worries. But yeah, there's this interesting way to explain the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect, I mean, I'm no expert, for sure. But it essentially is not the best evolution, but we're going to get a bunch of 3s, which hopefully can tango with this, whatever board our opponent wants to produce. No! I've been loving the Sand Drudge today. But yeah, the Dunning-Kruger effect, in essence, just says that there's like a kind of a graph, and the graph says that, you know, people who don't know very much about something are much more likely, like the likelihood that they will misrepresent or overestimate their own abilities is significantly higher. Whereas the people who are more proficient at that thing are more likely to say that, you know, they suck, essentially, or that they don't know things. And I think that we definitely see that in a lot of card games. You know, you definitely see. Ooh, Rexa. Alright. What do we want to do here? This is 11 plus 9. It's 20. Our opponent's on 22.
The choice is mine alone.
So we could trade and then Corridor Creeper evolve it. Rot boy.
Take a punch.
Maybe we should have considered crushing walls positioning. But yeah, so the Dunning-Kruger effect I think is really interesting because we see it all the time in card games, particularly because we get a large amount of players of all different varieties. You know, playing for 20 years only casually versus like playing for 1 year competitively, and, you know, 20 years competitively, 3 weeks casually. And you hear it all the time that people are, you know, they are pretty likely to overestimate their own abilities. But I heard a really interesting way of explaining it. And that's that, you know, if you represent knowledge as a circle, where everything within the circle you know, everything outside of the circle you don't know. When you don't know a lot, you can't perceive how much you don't know. Whereas the more you know, and the more your circle grows bigger, the more your knowledge grows bigger, more surface area on the outside of the circle, the more you see what you don't know. So it's kind of that idea that as you become more enlightened, you see more of what you need to know and what you need to learn. So you're more likely to be able to go like, oh my gosh, no, I don't know anything. There's so much out there that I don't know. Whereas if you don't know very much, you're more likely to say like, I know everything. There's nothing out there that I don't know. I thought that was really interesting. I hope you enjoyed that. Alright, back here against another hunter. I'll send all of these back. We are on the play. We're going to need a bit of help. Ugh, no one drop. Come on, Firefly. Right, this will be the game where it's Beast Hunter, right? Turn 1 Diamol. Or not. It was the Infinity Armor deck? Yeah, don't feel bad about not knowing how the Infinity Armor deck worked, because that was, yeah, that was a time.
The calm before the storm.
Ooh. Interesting. So the only spell damage we actually have in the deck is Lightning Storm. So this might have been a bit of a weak one, but we'll see. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to next week. We're actually going to be doing a an extra special stream with an extra special person, one of my favourites, Kid Kerrigan. She's a fantastic Australian streamer, content creator, focuses a lot on Blizzard games, most notably Heroes of the Storm, that kind of stuff. So we're going to be doing a stream with her. She doesn't play a lot of Hearthstone, but we're going to try and help her get her card back. I think we're going to be kind of talking a lot about like decks to learn, decks to pick up for this season. So yeah, if you're around, definitely come check it out. What are we doing here though? Kind of don't want to drop this Primal Fin Totem with this Eaglehorn Bow in play, but maybe we just gotta. Like, we could go for Feral Spirit, but I think that really kind of pinches us a little bit too much. We got the Taunt Totem anyway. Don't worry about it. Also worth having a bit of a think just about why our opponent went face with that Huffer. Why did they go face? Do I play Magic the Gathering? Yes, I've been playing Magic since about 2003? 2002, 2003. I work at a collectibles store that sells Magic the Gathering. So yeah, I'm pretty deep on Magic. In fact, I have a pile of cards. You're streaming so late, by the way, at least in Sweden. Well, it's currently 12:30 PM in Australia, so it's right past midday, which is still a weird time for Australian streaming. But yeah, I've got some Magic cards here. I do a bit of judging, so I've got some judge foils for y'all. Whoop. Oh gosh. Turns out the backlight doesn't really help. But yeah, just some stuff that was sitting on my desk. My job is so cool. It's fine. It definitely is a not a labor of love, but it working in a field like that can sometimes take the fun out of it, if that makes sense.
Quickly.
I'm not sure if you're watching on YouTube. No, never mind. I was going to say, have you been noticing that people are disconnecting as much?
I'll never tell.
She'll never tell. So we have 4 plus 6 times 3 is 18. 1 short.
Starlight.
I mean, we didn't need to play this to make the Lightning Storm kill everything, because we do have the Wrath of Air totem out, but... So what's your job? Yes. Yeah, I work at a game store. Something that I've been doing also for like the last decade and a bit.
To my side.
It's actually my first job was working in a collectibles store when I was 14, 15, something like that.
Starlight.
Got him! Unfortunate that our opponent had that turn where they did nothing. which is a bit of a flat game to finish on, but I think we still got to see kind of exactly what the aggro token Shaman was about. Admittedly, we didn't get to find out much about a couple of the cards we were a bit suspect of. Maka, what's going on? Good to see you in the chat. We didn't get to find out much about the Mana Tide Totem, you know, especially compared to other options for card draw, or honestly, if the deck even needs card draw, because as you kind of saw, we were closing out games pretty consistently. I think particularly if we were to, I'd love to try a version of the deck where we cut the Mana Tide Totems and the Thunderheads, and instead play the Storm Chaser, so we can consistently get our win conditions. And instead we can focus on just playing some more aggressive minions, or some more control, possibly even fit some more like lightning bolts or earth shocks or zaps or something like that to help out Electra. Other than that, yeah, the deck was fantastic. Seems like we were able to close out a lot of games before, you know, decks like maybe Hand Mage or Elemental Mage really start to hit their stride. I'd love to play the deck against Odd Paladin or Zoo Warlock, just to see how they kind of compete on board and things like that. And particularly against Beast Hunter. We haven't been seeing a lot of Beast Hunter, but I think if any of our opponents really had the, you know, the turn 1 Diamol, turn 2 Hatchet, I think we would have been a completely different game. But regardless, big shout out to Murloc Slayer over on HS Replays. If you are watching this video on YouTube, please jump over to the Hearthstone. Oh my gosh, we've completely lost it. Go over to the website, do the thing. You've heard it a million times before. Stay safe, stay wavy, bye. I hope you enjoyed that video. Check out other ones over here, or come subscribe to the Wave Pool for more excellent times.